VoyMonk vlog number 45. Last Tuesday, and more importantly, the last day of the month. Last day of the year. Yep, 2024. So how you feel? How you doing? Did you is it everything that you expected to be? You got some big plans? Do you plan to go out and raise some uh, raise some glasses to the new year at the end of the night? It's 11:59 to 12 a.m. I don't know. I've always kind of like found observing the different time zones in terms of the new year. I usually start off in Australia when I go on YouTube and look at how they're celebrating and what different things that they'll do. Although I do kind of tend to notice that for the most part, it doesn't seem to be as much of a fanfare there as it is here. I don't know if it's just because of what limited uh, uh, ability to see what goes on down there as far as their television and networks and all that stuff, but it doesn't really translate to here. I mean, I've been told that if I get a VPN that I can actually watch more of the content uh, from down there in different countries and stuff. So I don't know. And then of course New York, if you're on the West Coast, you watch them, and of course the Midwest, usually New Orleans. And I think Las Vegas and California are typically after that. And then I think by the time it gets to Alaska or Hawaii, most people are either completely bombed or asleep by that time. So they kind of get the short end of the stick as it comes to being recognized for the transition that they'll be going through. That Sydney, Australia, and Australia has beaten us by an almost entire day. So, but this being the last Tuesday of 2024, I can't say that I'm overall too nostalgic for anything else. The time I spent with my mom, time doing that, it doesn't matter what the year is. I'll be grateful for that and love the fact that I can do that in 2025 as well. But for the most part, 2024 has been pretty rough, especially being without a car and going into 2025, having to deal with all that. So yeah, that's something that's, like I said, I'm praying and I'm hoping that I can find a way to get through that in terms of getting a car and getting something that's reliable. I'm really looking for something in terms of like a Toyota, like a CRV, or a Toyota, something that runs forever, doesn't need a lot of maintenance, and more importantly, something that can get my mom and myself to and from appointments. Because she's got medical needs that require visits to healthcare providers for different conditions. So, and bus isn't really as. I mean, people kind of allowed public transportation for a lot of things, but for the most part, just like a lot of things, uh, I would say that people that absolutely need it and rely on it are oftentimes not those who are responsible for controlling it and managing it. And I think sometimes that can be the disconnect there. It's if those who were in control of it had to actually see it in a viewpoint that, when a bus doesn't show up on time or it comes early or you miss a connection or whatever, that the simple notion that, well, you can arrive just a bit early if you think you'll be late, or if you wind up being late, it isn't something that should happen too often, so it shouldn't be a problem. I kind of beg to differ when it comes to that. I mean, in Minneapolis specifically, I would say the way that the buses were run, it was one of those things that there were certainly bus routes that were better planned out than others. But the ultimate thing that was kind of weird about that is some of the best routes that they had planned were people that ultimately kind of really didn't need the bus. I mean, they used it, but it was more of a convenience rather than something that was needed as an overall reliable source of transportation for people to get to and from. So, yeah, even living in the Pacific Northwest, that's an issue. And I know people talk about the needs as far as climate change and all that sort of thing, as far as what we need to do. But transportation and cars, although I know that some people predict that there are ways to circumvent that through public transportation, it is one of those things that is good on paper and an idea, but the practice ultimately kind of falls short. At least that's just my experience. But yeah, that is what I'm thinking about going into 2020. Well, going out of 2024 into 2025, and the new year is here. And so I do have some things that I want to do tonight to celebrate, enjoy with my mom. But other than that, it's going to be no drinking, no partying, nothing like that. But just enjoying watching the passage of the from 24 to 2025, and hopefully anybody who's listening, people that are enjoying this content, that you have a safe and great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Until next time, take care.